if you would like, I can send you a copy of the demo that you just attended. Okay?
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right.
And just before we start, let me just confirm something. You have an on-premise solution, correct? It's not cloud-based.
We have both, actually, but yes, we have an installed version as well as a cloud-based version.
All righty.
Okay, I do want to make you aware that if you plan on using the app, then you must have the cloud-based version. However, there are certain things that you can do that the app does through web pages that you can do in the installed version as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, please interrupt me with any questions that you have. And for any of you that, for whatever reason, I can't hear, you know, maybe your microphone is not working or your phone or anything like that, please feel free to use the chat to ask a question or to interrupt me, and I'll be sure to check the chat log as we're going through this, okay? All right, let's get started. So, the software has everything that you would expect from a spa management software, of course. It has things like appointment book, point of sale, inventory control, client database, marketing, commissions, and reporting. Now, it also has a couple of items that are fairly unique. And so we're going to start with those unique items, and then we're going to get into the basics. And as I said, please feel free to interrupt me with any questions as we go along. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about that's fairly unique to the system is the Darcy marketing. So I'm going to click on Darcy here, and that brings up this Setup Darcy window. Now, Darcy has 5 main jobs, and she does other things as well, but we're going to talk about those 5 main jobs. We're going to talk about them very quickly. The first one is appointment reminders and confirmations, and they can be done via email or text. And if you're using the app, you can do it through the app as well. But let's very quickly focus on email and text confirmations. So if I click on email confirmations, I get to write whatever I want. So don't worry about what you see here. You write whatever you want, and you get to use what are called variables. There's a list of variables for you to use here for your appointment reminders and confirmations. And you'll be taught all of this, of course. These variables make it so that everybody gets their own unique message. So this might say, reminder for Tamika. Hi, Tamika. Remember that you have an appointment for a European facial with Sally on January 27th at 11 a.m. Please arrive 15 minutes earlier and unwind. So everyone gets a message that's unique to them. And you can then choose how many messages are going to go out, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I said I want 2 to go out, and I want them to go out 2 days before their appointment and 1 day before their appointment. That's what I've selected. When this message goes out, it has your logo on it, it has your social networking icons on it, it also has a large button that says click here to confirm your appointment. And if your customer presses that button, it will mark the appointment confirmed right on the appointment book. And it will date and timestamp it and show that it was confirmed by the customer through Darcy. Now, it does the same thing with texting. The difference with texting, of course, is that there's no artwork, so no logo, no social networking icons, and no big button that says click here to confirm. When your customer receives a text, it might say something like, reminder for David. David, your appointment with Sally is on January 27th at 11 a.m. Reply Y to confirm. So if he hits Y and send, it will do exactly the same thing. It will mark the appointment confirmed right on the appointment book, date and timestamp showing that it was confirmed by the customer through Darcy. So that's appointment reminders and confirmations. Her second job that she does is what we call automated marketing campaigns. Now, with automated marketing campaigns, Darcy is going to be checking all of your client files every single day to see if any of them meet the parameters that you've selected. So for instance, there are over 20 different templates to choose from. So I've got things like anniversary, back to school, birthday, and then I've got all of the major holidays, things like Valentine's Day. You can create your own promotions as well, New Year's Day. Promotions allow you to create your own date. So let's go to birthday, for instance. If I wanted to contact people before their birthday, in their client file, you should be storing their birth date if you're going to be using this feature. So you'll have their month and day of their birthday. Then you get to choose how many campaigns, 1, 2, 3, or 4. This time I said 4. Then you get to choose from 0 to 30 days when the message is going to go out. So I said I want my first message to go out 30 days before, my second message 14 days before, my third message 7 days before, and my fourth message on their birthday. So then after I say when they're going to go out, I get to say what goes out. So my first message gets to be whatever I want it to be because I write it. So it might say something like, happy birthday, Paulette. Happy birthday, Paulette. It looks like you'll be celebrating your special day in about a month. Now, I wrote that because I know this one's going out 30 days before. When I'm writing the message, I can choose my font or my font size. I can make words bold or underlined or italicized. I can even change their color. And I can insert hyperlinks directly into my message. Also, I get to choose from 8 different pieces of artwork that have already been created. Now, your logo would be down here, the artwork would be up here, and your message would be in between. And if you don't like the artwork that we've already created for you, and we have 8 different pieces of artwork for every one of the automated campaigns, but if you don't care for them, that's just fine. You can actually upload your own custom artwork, and our graphic arts department will give you the specs for it. Or our graphic arts department will actually create it for you with your help. If you say, hey, we want this and not, we don't like the images you created, we want to make our own, this is, our idea, you give us a picture, something like that. The graphic arts department here at Pro Solutions Software is at your disposal at absolutely no additional charge. So they're always happy to work with you to create logos, to create imagery, whatever it may be. But of course, if you've got people to do that yourself, you can just ask for the specs, and the graphic arts department will give you the specs, and then you can create your own imagery, okay? So after you've written your message and you've chosen your imagery, then you can send yourself a test email. Just type in your email and hit OK. The system will send you the email so that you can see what it's going to look like. And if that's good, just save it. And then you get to forget about it. Every single day, Darcy's going to run. And anybody who has a birthday that's exactly 30 days away, she'll send them that first message. You can do the same thing for the second message now, using a different piece of artwork, a completely different message, whatever you'd like. But everything else works exactly the same. And you just go right down the list here if you're going to use all 4. After we've set up our birthdays, we might set up other things, like Father's Day or Mother's Day, or you can put in your own holiday date if you'd like. So it's not like Christmas, it's just holiday. You can do things like that. Summer, you can put in a date before the start of summer and send your messages out before that date. Now, there are other things as well, like, for instance, the follow-up. The follow-up is a little bit different. It doesn't go before the date, it goes after the date. But what's the date? The date is the date of your customer's last transaction in the spa. So you might say just one campaign this time, and maybe you just want to send it one day after. And so maybe you might say something like, choose some artwork like this, or make your own, of course. Thank you for your visit. We can't wait to see you again. And then the message, thank you, Rochelle. Rochelle, thank you so much for visiting us yesterday. We hope everything went great for you, et cetera, because you get to write whatever the message is. You want them to write a review. You can insert a hyperlink to your review site, whatever you might want to do. And of course, when these go out, they have your logo and they have your social networking sites. And your social networking sites can be quite a few. There's Google+, Yelp, CitySearch, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. Those will all be available to your customers if you've set that up. And of course, we show you how to do all of that. So that's job number 2, the automated marketing campaigns. Another job that she does are the notifications. Now, this acts kind of like an assistant manager at the front desk. Most of these, not all of these, but most of these are suspicious activities. And so whatever you check, Darcy's going to be checking all the time. So if I check this one that says when a cash payment is voided, if one of your staff at the front desk voids a cash payment, Darcy will automatically notify the boss or the manager, whomever you chose, and you can have up to 2 different people notified. When a price is modified at the point of sale, or when rewards points are adjusted, or when a transaction is modified, whenever they do things like this, you can be instantly notified that those things have happened. Not all of these are suspicious activities. For instance, you could have this one checked, email tomorrow's schedule to operator. Every night, Darcy will email your staff their schedule for the following day, just their schedule, nobody else's. They'll see the appointments that they have scheduled for them, the names of the customer, the service that they're providing, and if they belong in any rooms or anything like that. All of that information is sent to them every night, showing them what their tomorrow looks like. This one here, email closing report to the boss. Maybe the manager or the boss is not the one who closes the drawer at the end of the night. So when the drawer is closed at the end of the night, Darcy will email the boss or the manager saying, hey, here are tonight's closing numbers. So you get that report sent to you automatically. So again, not all of these are suspicious activities, but most of them are. Whichever ones you check, Darcy will be running every single day. Next, that's job number 3. So now we're going to talk about jobs 4 and 5, the come again and the buy again. The come again focuses on services, and it allows you to put a time frame on services. And that's not the amount of time that it takes the service to be performed, you know, like an hour massage or something like that. Instead, it's the amount of time between services. So for instance, if somebody gets service A and you say, you know what, if somebody gets service A, they should get it again in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is, then you can say, okay, if they haven't returned within that time, I want Darcy to reach out to them and remind them that they should be coming in. That's very helpful for local clients, not so much for guests that are only there once a year or something like that. And then of course, there's the buy again, which works very similarly to the come again, but it works with product. So if somebody buys a product and they haven't been back to replenish that product within the amount of time that you set up, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, whatever, Darcy will reach out to them to remind them that their product is running low. Also, at any time, you can create targeted marketing lists. You can go to create a list, and then you can say, I just want a list of all of my female customers, or I want a list of all of my male customers, or both. And I want a list of everybody who has a birthday next month, or who like to see a particular therapist or stylist, or who have dry skin, or whatever it is, because you get to actually create customized tracking items. So I've created some really crazy ones here, like, do they ride a motorcycle? You know, so you want to market just to your people who ride motorcycles to say, hey, your lower back is probably sore. Come on in for a good motorcycle massage, or something like that. So you get to create customized tracking items to create a list that's targeted. So you can say, I just want, I'm going to go silly here, but I just want my redheads with dry skin that ride motorcycles. You could do that. And then it'll create that list. And after you've created a list, you can then go to blast. Now, you can either, after you've made a list, choose the list, you can either export that list to anywhere on your computer at all. So then you can upload that list into something like Constant Contact or Go Loyal or whatever type of marketing system you're using, or you can forget about that and just go to blast. Then you can blast an email to everybody on that list or blast an SMS text to anyone on that list. And if we go to setup, we can create the email or the text that we want to send out. And then that email will be listed. So if I choose email here, any emails I've created will be listed here. So I can choose one of them, like my brunette Harley here. These are all of my brunettes who ride motorcycles. I know it's a silly thing, but you can do things like that. And then you can send yourself a test email to make sure it looks good. Your logo is there. The image that you put in when you set it up, you can upload your own image after you've created a template. So you can take a look at it, make sure it looks good. And if it does, hit process, and everybody on that list will get that message, just to the people on that list, however you've created it. Okay. All right. So those are absolutely. Now those are the features of Darcy, the main features anyway. Do you have any questions on Darcy before I continue?
No.
All right. Moving on then. Yeah, okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about that's fairly unique is the online system. The online system allows you to create web pages. There are 4 different web pages that can be created. A front page that can be created that you will, of course, put in your banners, and of course our graphic arts department can give you the specs for them or can make them for you. But you put in your banners, you choose your colors, you choose the colors of your buttons, everything. You're going to try to make it have the look and feel of your website. That's the front page, and through this front page, I can book appointments or purchase products or buy gift certificates online. Also, though, I have individual pages like booking appointments. It has its own URL. So then if a customer wants to book an appointment online, they don't have to go to that front page. Maybe on your website, it says to book appointments, click here. So they click that button, and now they can book appointments through the system. Or with purchasing gift certificates, it also has its own URL. To buy gift certificates for the spa, click here, and they can then purchase a gift certificate right through that page. And also online retails, if you want to sell products online, you can do that through its own URL as well. Okay, so this is an online store that's available to you if you choose to use it. You do not have to choose to use it. Just so you know, though, because you have multiple locations, you would have multiple buttons. Like, for instance, click here to book appointments at Sandals. I don't know. I'll just make it up. Sandals and a Grill, or book here to book appointments at Sandals, blah blah blah, or Beaches, blah blah blah. And so each one would be unique, and that, of course, would be for the spa appointments. Okay. All right. Moving on. So now we're going to talk about some of the basics, like the appointment book. Now, there are actually 3 different types of appointment books in the software. There's the day view screen, the week view screen, and the month view screen. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to focus on the day view and week view. The day view screen I get to by going to this button and left clicking. That brings up my current day with my staff members that are working today. And I can see up to 31 columns on a single screen. So however many columns I'm looking at is going to be up to me. I can either do it the way I just did it by clicking on this little plus sign here to add columns, or I could have preset it to show a certain number of columns whenever I go into my appointment book. So let's go back here. Now I'm going to book an appointment. So the first thing I do is I choose a customer, and I can do that by left clicking on client and pulling up a customer that's already in my database. And I can do it by default by last name, or by first name, or by telephone number, or even by typing in or swiping a membership card if you're using the membership program. So I pull up a customer, whoever they may be, and then I can choose a group. The groups of services are defined by you. So all of these groups that you see here are groups that you want. There's nothing pre-created for you, although we will do your data entry for you. But for instance, if I said I want to go to, let's say, waxing. When I choose waxing, I hope you noticed that my screen just changed. Watch what happens when I choose massage. Again, my screen changes. Because when I choose massage, only my massage therapists appear and the rooms that massages can be done in and any equipment that some of the massages might need. And if I choose waxing, I'm left with just my waxers and my rooms that waxing can be done in. So let's do a wax. So I've chosen my group, and I'm limited now to just the services within waxing. So maybe I want to do a bikini wax, and I want to book that with Melinda at 11 o'clock. And the appointment is booked after I choose my room. Michelle Babcock has been booked in the Ruby room. Now, 15 minutes for a bikini wax seems a little bit short. I can expand that at any time. I can either have already preset it so that it's a half hour or 45 minutes or an hour or something like that, or I can actually change it right in the appointment book just by right-clicking on it and then selecting something like change appointment duration and change it to maybe 30 minutes. And so now I've got my bikini with Michelle Babcock there. Okay? All right. Okay, so then I want to book another appointment. Notice that appointment booked with Melinda in the Ruby room. So it also gave me a room, not just a person to book. I can do couples massages by booking the room and allowing it to choose people. Let's take a look at something like that. So I'm going to go to my massage group, and I'll choose a customer here. I'm going to go with Maury here, and he would like to get a Swedish massage. We'll say a Swedish 60. And we're going to book that with Maureen at 10 o'clock. So I book the appointment with Maureen. What room? And we'll say the herbal room. So Maury is booked with Maureen in the herbal room. Now his wife, he's going to book for his wife as well. She also would like a Swedish massage with him. So I get to choose her as well. And let's go with Donna Earl here. That's his wife. So I've got Maury and Donna. And now if I tried to book with Michelle here, or with Sarah, or with Anna, or with Abigail, it would ask me, what room am I going to book in? But herbal would not be an option because the herbal room's already booked. So instead of choosing a person and letting it ask me what room, because I've already got the room booked and I want to do a couples massage, I'm going to do it in reverse. I just book the room. And then it'll ask me what person. So I can go with someone like Michelle. So now I've got Maury booked with Maureen for a Swedish, and I've got Donna booked with Michelle for a Swedish, and both of them are in the herbal room. So I can do a couples massage like that, okay? I can also check them out simultaneously. When I go through the point of sale and check out, I can check out Maury and Donna together on the same ticket and with one payment if I wanted to do that. Or I could check them out individually, of course. So we have single-tiered booking, two-tiered booking, and three-tiered booking. So I showed you two-tiered booking when I booked a person and a room. That's two-tiered booking. So let's talk about three-tiered booking. We're going to stay in massage, actually. I was about to leave it, but I'm going to stay in massage. And this time I'm going to go with a hot stone 60. And I'm going to choose
one moment before you move on. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it possible to preset the room, to assign, for example, your couple's room? Does the system have the flexibility for you to be able to allow two experiences to be booked in it, rather than doing it the opposite way around, where you select the room first? Does it have that flexibility?
Well, when I select a person, when I book with a person, it'll ask me for the room. If I want to do more things in that room, in order to use that room again, I need to book the room first so that I can select another person. Because if I don't do that, it won't give me the room as another option because it's already occupied. That way it prevents you from accidentally overbooking a room.
And that's
It
great.
does the same thing with equipment, like with black stones here for the hot stone massage, which I was about to do. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's grab somebody here. We'll go with Chris Habib, and he wants a hot stone massage. So we're going to book that, let's say at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to book that with Debbie at 1 o'clock. And now it says, okay, what room? And I'll choose the Jasmine room this time. And now it says, what equipment? And I'll choose the red stones. So now I booked three-tiered. Chris Habib booked with Debbie in the Jasmine room with the red stones. Kind of like a game of Clue. But that's three-tiered booking. So I can do that as well. Now I can also, that's three-tiered, and I showed you two-tiered. I'm sorry, say that again?
I have a question on that as well. So Matt, if we get in there, that all looks great. So I think where Marika might have been going with that as well as, or Tamika, whoever that made the comment, is that what if they upgrade or we sell an enhancement? How do we book that on that same service? So what if that that 80-minute turns into a deep tissue and then we need to change it, or either sell the enhancement, sell on aromatherapy, upgrade or something? Can you double, but you might need to book 2 or 3 actual for sale services within that same 60-90 minute window. And I want to see it overlap on that schedule so that they're not having to manipulate or work around the software to say, well, we got to charge for that, but we put it in the notes because we can't book it and overlap it. And it's, I'm sure you got a solution for it.
Okay, so that's multiple booking. So if I go to multi-book, I can either have pre-made packages that I've already created with their own pricing and their own list of services associated with them. So I've got a whole bunch of pre-made packages here, or I can do it on the fly. So I can go to multi-service, and now I can do up to 10 services, and I get to choose a specific person and fill it in, or I could just go with anybody. But for instance, I might say Abigail here, and she's going to do a back facial, and I'll stick it in. Then I can choose somebody else, like Christian is going to do a, I don't know, let's say a, well, what the heck, even though you guys probably don't do hair there, we'll say a blow dry and curl. And then I can choose anybody to
do a lot of hair.
Because I don't have, oh, you do? Okay, terrific.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And so we'll go with the Brazilian wax.
A lot of salons.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. So you can certainly, yeah, because remember, the groups and services are defined by you. So you can certainly do spa and salon services here. Now, I've done 3. I could do up to 10, but I've done 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I've got a back facial followed by a blow dry and curl followed by a Brazilian wax. I know that's kind of silly, but that's what we've set up right now. I don't know why anybody would get a Brazilian wax after they did their blow dry, but let's go ahead and accept that. Now I can choose a date or a start time. So let's go with the start time here. Let's say no earlier than 9 a.m. And I hit go, and it will find every available option for me. So if I've got a lot of appointments already booked on the screen, I don't have to worry about fitting things in. It's going to find who can do it and whether or not they have the available time, one after the other. So for instance, I could start with something like, okay, now you'll notice they don't want to come in any earlier than 3. Well, that's fine, but the earliest that they're going to get is 12 noon. That's this one here. So if I say show, for instance, then, 1 o'clock. Abigail is going to do the back facial at 1. Christian is going to do the blow dry and curl at 2, and Angel is going to do the Brazilian wax at 3. Does that work for the customer? If it does, I can go ahead and book it. So I can go ahead and choose my customer, whoever they are, and this time we'll go with Mary Galbraith here, and then we'll book it. Any rooms that are required, it'll ask for them, for those services. And the appointments are booked. And there they are. They fill in for you. Mary is seeing Abigail, then she's seeing Christian, then she's seeing Ruby. And they're in the rooms as well. I mean, she's not seeing Ruby, excuse me. Ruby's a room, and so is the herbal. So that's probably on another screen. I'm just in the massage screen right now. Let's go to all groups, and let's take a look. There we go. So Mary is seeing Abigail, and then she's seeing Christian, and then she's seeing Angel. And when I go to check this out, when I right-click on any of them, and I select check out, their entire ticket is there for me.
Nice.
We'll clear that, yes, and exit. Now, I also want to show you this. I can go to Christian here, and I can go to his information. So here's Christian's info, and I can do a room preference for Christian. So I choose him, and then I can choose my first room and my second room choice. By doing that, if I'm booking an appointment for Christian and that room is available, it will automatically book it just to save you time. If it's not available, it'll automatically jump to this one just to save you time. If neither of these are available, it'll ask you choose the room because you have set preferences for Christian. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So yes, you can certainly do that. And of course, when you are setting up your services, excuse me. So let's go to massage here and let's go to a particular service like a Hot Stone 30. When I set up my service, I give it a price, I give it a time, and I get to choose what rooms that service can be done in. That way, it won't be available in the diamond room, but it will be available in any of these 4 rooms. So you get to choose what rooms particular services can be performed in. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, you said you do hair. Normally, when I am talking to a resort, it's almost exclusively focused on spa. But because you said hair, I want to show you something important. Because you do hair,
we do about 10,000 weddings a year, and we have a boatload of brides. We do a lot of hair and makeup, and we do it in all shapes and sizes, and we have a ton of salon business. Hair and nails are a big part of what we do.
Fantastic, and that's great. And so because of that, I want to show you something important. When doing a hair service, oftentimes if you're doing things like color or foils or perms or anything like that, where you're using chemicals or anything like that, you have processing time. And in that processing time, your staff member who is providing the service should be able to walk away from the customer for however long that they're processing, like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour while they're sitting under a blow dryer or a heating lamp, or they're just sitting there with chemical in their hair waiting a certain amount of time before you go back in and finish the job. So I just want to show you that when you set up your services, that's one of your options. So I can choose a service here like my anti-curl with haircut, and that's $170. And when I go to times, I've got 3 options here: single, double, and triple. A single means that the staff member is with the client the entire time. A double means that there are 2 times that the staff member is with the customer with a gap in between. That's your processing time. And a triple means that there are 3 times, 3 distinct times that the provider is with the customer with 2 gaps in between. That would be like a double process, where you have 2 separate gaps in between 3 separate times that the customer is with the. So let's take a look, because I've already set up my anti-curl with haircut as a double. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to grab a new customer here. We'll go with Jennifer here, and I'm going to go to my hair services, and I'm going to choose an anti-curl with haircut. And I'm going to book that with Debbie at 3 o'clock. Notice that has a gap. I could stick a half-hour massage in there, or a 15-minute nail service, or whatever it is I want. I could stick that right in that slot there because that is an available time. But the Aunt Curl with Haircut starts at this time and finishes during this time with this gap in between.
That's a cool
So I just want you to be aware of that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, there's a lot more to the appointment book. There's doing standing appointments where the same person comes in every other Tuesday at 11 o'clock, for the same service. You can do, as I said, multiple bookings where you have multiple services or packages that are pre-created that you want to book. You can place people on the waiting list. Lots of different things to do. But quickly, I'm going to jump to what's called the week view screen. The week view screen is, instead of showing you a specific day, and by the way, you can jump from day to day just by using these little arrows here. So now I'm on the 26th, now I'm on the 27th, go back to the 26th, go back to the 25th. Or I could go to calendar and choose a day. I can do it that way as well. But that's all for my day view screen. The week view screen doesn't show you everybody working on a particular day. It's based on a single employee. So I could go to Debbie here and go to her week view. And now I'm looking at just Debbie's schedule from today plus 2 weeks. Again, using my little plus or minus signs, I can add or reduce columns. So I can see 31 days of just Debbie's schedule. And I can book from this screen as well. Only Debbie's service.
Welcome to Sandals Resorts International.
I think somebody just put us on hold.
All Sandals Resorts are created for two people.
I just muted everybody because somebody put us on hold. Because you're muted, I can't hear you right now, but you can still hear me. I will unmute you in just a moment. I just want to show you how you book an appointment through the week view screen for Debbie. So I can choose a service. Now, I don't have to choose a group this time because the only services here will be services that she performs. So I'm going to go with a cut and color, and then I get to choose a customer. So we'll go with Kim Casada here, and I'll book that on January 29th at 11 o'clock with Debbie. And the appointment is booked. And this one is a double process, 2 different processing times for this cut and color. Okay? All right. I'm going to unmute everybody. There you go. You're all unmuted.
Sip on Robert Mondavi wines and unlimited premium.
All right. I put you all back on hold. Somebody put us on hold over there. I hope they take it off soon so that we can get that, so that, have an open conversation between us. David, I think you're the only one that's unmuted right now. That's all right.
Yeah, I don't know who put us on hold, but Paulette and I are not on hold, so we're listening.
Okay, I can hear you too, so no problem. And Tamika has just taken her hold off, which is fine as well. So you can talk.
I'm listening also.
Okay, it looks like only Rochelle has. I think it was Rochelle. I think if we take her off mute, then we'll hear that again. So Rochelle, if you can hear me, sorry, but you're on mute. Okay, so that's booking an appointment in the week view. Now I can jump to different people. So I can choose Jessica here, and now I'm looking at Jessica's 2 weeks. Choose Christian, and now I'm looking at Christian's 2 weeks. So again, the week view screen is based on a single staff member showing you up to 31 days at a time, but it defaults to today plus 2 weeks. Okay? All right. Now,
can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, of course, please.
Can we do, I'm sure you do this, but I just get right to it on the recipes. If I wanted to control cost of goods and inventory, can I put, just like a chef would do a recipe card, I want to program what products I need to do per service so we can track cost of sales by treatment performed, back our inventory.
Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. And what you call recipes, we call formulas. And so in your service, yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to really quickly touch on it just because the important thing here is that it can be done. So you simply choose a group, and then I can go in and maybe choose a service or something, and I go to my standard formulas. And this is where I've got my service here, my European facial. I can put in instructions, and I can put in product and how much of it I'm using. So maybe I have a 48-ounce bottle of goop, but whenever I do a European facial, I use 3 ounces of goop. So then, as you use them, it'll use up those 48 ounces. And once that 48 ounces is used up, it will remove that bottle from your professional inventory. Okay? So you can absolutely set up formulas. Now, you can even set up formulas for individual clients. So even though you have a standard formula for a particular service, you can actually create an individual formula for a particular client. So you might say, look, when I do service A, these are the different things I use, and this is how much of it I use. That's great. But when I do service A on Michelle Babcock, it's a little bit different. So she can actually have her own unique formulas outside of the standard formulas. If you don't create a unique formula for her, that's fine. It'll just go with the standard. Okay, but yes, you can absolutely do that. And by doing that, by putting those products into a service, a portion of those products anyway, then by doing that, every time you do that service, it will bring the formula up. If you ask if you want to use it, you accept it, and it will remove that much from your professional use. Okay?
So can the spa managers,
any other questions? Go ahead.
As the spa managers order product and they receive gallons of massage oil or gallons of cream or product XYZ, and they receive their back bar professional, can they load it into their software as to what they've received, 2 gallons of this, 16 tubes of this, or whatever the case is, and then
certainly.
I know we'd have to build all of it in our prescription.
Yeah, but you don't put it in individually like that. You can go into individual products and say how much you brought in, yeah. But the best way to do it is, if you're going to be doing purchase orders for the spa, just go to inventory and go to purchase orders and create an order. When you create that order, you're saying how many of this I need, how many of that I need, etc., from a particular vendor. Then you can email that out, or you can fax it out, or you can call them with it, whatever it is. But when those boxes come in, then you simply go back to inventory, purchase orders, and instead of create, you go to receive. And you pull in that number and you receive it. And if it was filled properly, then all of your numbers will automatically be updated. But hopefully you go over your packing slip and just match it to your purchase order. And if something was wrong, maybe they couldn't fill it in. Tamika says, hello, Matt, will you show how to set preferences for clients? Sure. So, but let me finish this and then we'll get to that. So then when you accept that, before you accept that PO, excuse me, if it was filled improperly, you can go line by line and change the numbers. So if you ordered 16, but they sent 10, then you can change it to 10, to your quantity received to 10 on that line, so that you don't accidentally update your quantities inappropriately. And you can even create an additional purchase order of items you didn't receive, so that you can, they're on back order. So you back order from, so you can create a PO just on the items you didn't get, so that when those come in, you can upload that as well. Okay.
We have a separate purchasing software, so I want to make sure that those two talk to each other, or if we use one or the other, I'm not quite sure how this would adapt, but we'd have to cross that bridge with Rochelle and see what we're going to do. As long as you interface very well with Infor, right?
Well,
our
yes.
Property management system.
Yes, absolutely. I know that we do interface with Infor. They've already confirmed with us that your property management system uses an emulation that we have. So the answer is yes. However, Infor says that in order to be certified with them, there are some steps to go through with them, as well as a fee that Sandals has to pay that we have made Rochelle aware of. So I just want you to be aware of that in order to interface with Infor, they're going to be working with our API. They've already confirmed that it works. Now it's just a matter of if there's anything additional, any push and pull of files that they want to do, to make theirs even more robust, they can do that as well. But what we already have in place will work with Infor.
17 spas in 7 countries, so they're very international. So they're all different countries, and I know the licensing and permits and the whole process. So as long as you make Rochelle happy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we spoke with them. They confirmed that what
Oracle. We have 4 versions of software that we'd have to work together with.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's going to be a matter of our development team with those companies' APIs and our
that'd be a technical aspect they have to sort. So
they're definitely going to have to work together to make that kind of stuff happen. But as far as whether or not we can do it, yes. Go ahead. Some
of the spa managers have 2 spas on their property. So So Barbados, Turks and Caicos, there are literally 2 red lane spas on resort, and they're beautiful rooms. One's got brand new ones. One's got 10 treatment rooms. I mean, so we want to be able to build separate spas for each property in some way or another. So that way therapists, estheticians, techs know that they're working on one side or they're working on the other side, or they're doing a blend of both, but in some way or another to differentiate the screens to say you're working on French Village Spa and you're working in Key West Village Spa and you're working in whatever.
Now there's 2 different ways to do that.
But the trick is the revenue streams would have to be all the same one resort. That would have to be the one. I mean, technically it's kind of spa, but we have to manage them as 2.
I understand what you're saying. And yes, the answer is yes. There's 2 different ways to do it. You can either set them up as 2 separate databases, but you'll have 2 icons on a single computer. So you could say, this is Spa A and this is Spa B, whatever their names are. I'm just making it up. And so when you double click on one, you pull up that database to book appointments, et cetera. You pull up the other one that can have a different color scheme, so you know it's different, and you can book for that and process sales for that. The concierge desk could have several different ones so that they're booking at this spa or that spa or this salon, all with different icons. So they're acting as completely separate databases, but those databases are being shared throughout the network. Now, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to use what's called the multi-location. But you're in one resort, but you have multiple spas. So even though it's one resort, it's multiple location. And in that case, you would have something like this. Notice I have location here. Now, mine isn't actually set up, but I want to show you what it does. The names can be here. Now, I've just put in A and B, but they could actually have names of the different spas. So if you name them different things, you could see them. So if I click on A, this is the appointment book for Spa A. If I click on B, this is now the appointment book for Spa B. As I said, I haven't set that up, but this would be the appointment book for Spa B and the people that are working in Spa B. In a single database, I'm able to also say, whoops, I'm in Spa B right now, and I don't want to be. I know. Okay, so let me change my multi-location manager, change it from B to A. There we go. Get back into A. There we go. All right. Yeah. Okay, so now what I can do is I'm able to go to my operator files. Oh, hang on. I need to, because I don't have it set up, I need to tell it that it's not set up. So give me just 1 second here.
Sure.
And while you're doing that, the next question is going to be if we could show the spa managers how easily it is to move an appointment in the visual book, and a therapist calls in sick. How easily can they shift things over? How many steps does it take to, can they just cut and paste, or do they have to click and drag, or do they have to go through menus and change things? So
I'm going to ask you to repeat that in just a second. I apologize. I'm just trying to change my location here. There we go. Okay. Whoops. There we go. Okay, you should be in live with me again. This is what I wanted to show you. I'm going to go to setup. I'm going to go to my operator files. I can choose a specific person, and I can say which location they work at. And if they work in both locations, I can set up different schedules for different locations as well. So if Christian can go from one spot to another at different times of the day, you can actually keep track of that as well. Okay?
Excellent.
All right. Now, I apologize. Repeat the other question you had.
The next question was to show the spa managers. I think, Marika and Tamika, are you still on the call?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I know you have a lot of questions probably, but usually one of the right out of the gate stand-up ones is how easily can the reception staff or the manager or supervisor move appointments in the visual book there? How easily is it for them can they just click and drag, cut and paste? Do they have to, as a therapist calls in sick and they need to move stuff quickly? How easily is it to manipulate that schedule without having to go in and change
really
too much?
Really easy. Okay. There's a box here that says reschedule, and I just check that box, and now I can drag an appointment from one place to another. So I could grab this one here, and move it down here to 4 o'clock and release, and it'll ask me for my room and equipment again, if any. She's already got a room assigned. So that appointment was just moved, drag and drop. I can do the same thing. Let's say, for instance, let's go to my hair group, make it a little bit easier so we don't even have to go with the rooms. And I'm going to check my reschedule box if I need to. And now I'm able to take an appointment, left click, and bring it down to this time. Left click, drag it up to this time. Left click, bring it down here, etc. So now, if I need to move it to a different day, I just right click on Debbie, go to her week view, and I can reschedule and take it to Saturday the 27th, bring it over here to Wednesday, January 31st at 11 a.m., or bring it right back to 2 o'clock today. So dragging appointments around, absolutely. Also, let's go back to our current day. Another thing that I can do is I can right click on an appointment and I can change the duration, the length of time that that appointment takes. I can even change the service that it was booked. So I can go to change service name and I can choose a different service. Now, when I do that, one of the things it's going to say is, do I also want to adjust the time? So going to a different service here, it might require a different time. You know, like a half leg bikini takes more than 30 minutes maybe. So if I choose that, I can say, yes, adjust the time or not. Oh, no room available. The appointment can't be booked. Good to know. Okay, and so I can rebook that appointment somewhere else if I choose to. So I can unbook, reschedule. I can change the actual service. I can change the length of time. Need to have a room available in order to rebook an appointment, of course.
Change the time, please.
You don't cut and paste, but you kind of do. What you do is, like I said, you can drag it around, or you can right click and select reschedule, and it vanishes. Then I can move it somewhere else, like 3 o'clock here. Click, it'll ask me what room, and the appointment's been moved. So I can do it either way, right click and select reschedule, or just check reschedule, and that activates the drag and drop feature. And don't forget, like I said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You want to finish your thoughts and then I'll ask my question. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, at any time you can right click and you can change the actual service. You can change the client type. You can mark it as a package. You can even change the color. So there's lots of different things that you can do to adjust what you have here.
Okay. What if I want to just have a quick glance at all the rooms that I currently have available? Do you have an option for a location view? Or is it that I have to physically start booking and then see what rooms are available?
Oh, no. Your rooms can absolutely be shown on a screen. Okay. So for instance, here are my rooms: Diamond, Elixir, Herbal, and Jasmine. And my Ruby room, here's all of my equipment, my lasers, my micropulse machines, my Blackstone and my Redstones, etc. Okay, so perfect. They can all be on the same screen. It really depends on how much you're looking at. If I was looking at a screen with 31 columns, I'm looking at staff and rooms and equipment now, rather than just staff. So I can look at just the rooms to see their availability. Okay. And of course, you can book in a room and then it'll ask for a person rather than booking a person and have it ask for a room.
Yeah. And obviously, once we've got it built, I mean, the software will, I mean, it's intelligent enough to know you can't book an appointment if you don't have a room, and you can't, you know, essentially, you know.
That's right. You can't book a room if you don't have a staff member that can provide that service. That's exactly right.
That we put on the technician and the equipment required, if any, etc. Yeah.
That's right. You've got it. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back here. Okay, so again, I said for lack of brevity, we were about to get out of the appointment book, but I lied. That wasn't too. There is one more thing I want to show you, and that is classes. So you can create things like yoga classes, Pilates classes, spinning classes, whatever. And classes work a little bit differently. Notice this is a Pilates class with Abigail. And there are 12 of 15 open slots. So watch what happens. I go to maybe classes here. Here's my Abigail is doing her Pilates class in the Elixir room, and she can see up to 15 people. Right now, there's 3 people in it. How do I know that? Because 12 of 15 spots are still open. I can right-click on this. I can change the class limit, make it a class of only 10 people or a class of only 5 people. Oh, Tamika, you can't hear my voice?
No.
Okay, Tamika can't hear my voice. Let me just tell her I'm still here. Let me check if.
She says yes, now she can.
Okay, let's. Tamika, can you hear my voice now? Oh, now you can? Okay, great, great. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, don't know what happened there. Okay, so I'm going to right click on this and I can change the class limit, make it a class of only 10 or a class of only 5, but I can also go into my client list here and I can just start adding customers. So this person would also like to be in the class, Lori here, and this person will say Allison would like to be in it. So now I've added Allison and Lori. And so now 10 of 15 spots are open instead of 12 because I added 2 more people. I've got 5 people in the class now. So you can book classes as well, not just individual appointments with people and staff members. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Now we're going to check out. Now there's a couple of different ways to do it. I can check out directly from the appointment book. So I can click on my appointment book because somebody walked up to the front desk, Carolyn Jackson walked up, and she would like to pay. So I can go to right click and go to check out. That will automatically open my point of sale register with her ticket pre-filled in. Now, I want you to look at this. Carolyn saw Debbie and got a hot stone massage. That's it. That's all I'm checking out. I'm going to clear that and exit out of this. Now I'm going to go to Mary here, and I'm going to go to check her out. Remember, she got a package. So all 3 of her services fill in, even though I went to just check out 1, because she's not going to pay for 1 when she's going to have another appointment immediately after. So it fills in all of them. Can I remove them? Yeah, I could remove a specific item off of this if she's only going to pay for 2 and then get the next one later on in the day, and then she'll pay for that one later. She can do that too. So let me go ahead and clear that. Now, that's one way to do it, right from the appointment book. But I can also do it from the sales screen just by clicking on sales. It'll open up my register. And everybody who has a current appointment is going to be listed right here.
Right.
Okay, so then I can choose who they are and it'll be ready to go. Now, here's Maury Earl. Remember, he was getting the couples massage. So I can also choose Donna. On the same ticket, I've got Maureen and Michelle that did the work. They both did Swedish 60s on Maury and Donna. Now I can go to payment, maybe, or perhaps sell them some retail or a gift certificate or a series or a membership, add a gratuity. If I add gratuity, by the way, I can put in a dollar amount for Michelle and accept it, and then put a dollar amount in for Maureen and accept that. Or I could say apply a percentage, and it'll distribute it and do the math for me. So now Maureen's getting $14.85 and Michelle's getting $14.85.
Cool.
Now, when I go to payment, Donna is going to pay for both of them, but maybe it's Maury that's going to pay for both of them. I can change the payee.
Excellent.
Or I could just go with the one that was the last one on the screen. And we'll clear that. Okay, so you can get to it from the appointment book or directly from the point of sale, but what if somebody walked into the spa and said, can I get a massage? And you said, oh, sure, I've got Sally available. And they go in there and they get a massage from Sally, and then they come up to the front desk to pay. But they have not ever booked an appointment, and you didn't put them on the appointment book. They just walked in and you sat them in a room because that person was available. That's fine. You simply go to clients here, and now you can choose who that client was. So I say Joyce here, and I go to my service. I say Joyce saw Debbie and got a back facial. And if she got more, I hit more and do more. Or I just hit last, and her ticket's ready to go. So I can build a ticket without an appointment. I can even do that for customers who aren't already in my database. I can hit new and add them and then build their ticket the same way I did when I created them out of my client file. If I sell product and maybe a minor comes in, she's 13 years old and she just, I don't know, she wanted to get one of the shampoos that you offer. So maybe you do a one-time because you're not really going to track who she is. You don't care to gather that information for maybe future marketing. So you could still do that and sell her a product, maybe like say that Matthew sold her the Nail Tech Intensive. We'll clear that. So you can do a one-time, which means you don't care who they are, new, you're gathering their information into your database for the first time. And of course, clients, they're already in your database. So let's go ahead and grab somebody again. This time we'll go with Judy Babbitts here. She took the Pilates class. She owes $30. We go to payment. We can accept it in all of these different forms, including billing to the room. I can put in the room number. Now, I don't obviously have my property management system interface hooked up to this because I'm not part of that. But if I was connected to the property management interface, there would be an additional button here that says room inquiry. And the nice thing about the room inquiry is that you can see who's occupying that room. So if Miss Babbitts comes in and sees and she took the Pilates class and she goes to pay and she says, oh, just charge it to room 215. Okay, sure. So I go and I do a room inquiry and I see that Judy Babbitts is in that room. Or maybe it just says Michael Babbitts or something like that. Okay, I'll go ahead and charge the room. But maybe if I go charge that room and I do a room inquiry and it says that Michael Smith is occupying that room and there are no other names, then I might say, are you sure you got the name right? Or are you sure you got your room right? Now she says, oh yeah, but it might be under the name Michael Smith. I'm his girlfriend. Well, that's up to you. But if that's the case, you can go ahead and charge that room. But the benefit of the room inquiry will actually show you the names of the people who are occupying that room before you go and just charge a room to make sure that you're not charging to the wrong room.
That is shown. I know on resorts it is important that credit is established. So will you get to see whether or not a credit card imprint was left in the room, or is it just the name that it shows when you do the room inquiry?
When you do the room inquiry, it's only going to show you who occupies that room.
Okay.
Yeah, just the name. Can you go into that client's file and actually take a look at their file and see if they have a credit card on file? Yes, but only if you are processing credit cards through our preferred provider. That's the only way you can store cards on file in the spa or salon. I'm guessing, though, that they have their credit card already in your property management system.
Right.
And hopefully with our
the property management system that I would have wanted to be able to view.
Yeah. So again, that's going to be whether or not that kind of information is shared with Transcend. That's going to be up to what Infor allows to be pushed and pulled.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and do a couple of things to this ticket, and then let's process it out. So Judy Babbitts here saw Abigail. She got the Pilates. While she was there, she was upsold, and she saw Christian, and she got a blow dry. And she added gratuity to it, so we'll go ahead and do 15%. And she bought a product. She bought the Justin All-in-One shampoo from Lachey, puts in my local tax, if any, and I go to payment, and I accept it in cash. And if I accept an amount more than this, maybe she gives me $120, it will make my change for me. And if I'm connected to an electronic cash drawer, it will pop open the drawer as well. I can accept a check or not. By the way, you can have that turned off and put in the check number. I can accept a credit card. If you are processing through our preferred provider, it's going to look like this, and you get your authorization right through the software. However, if you're not, it's okay. It's just going to look like this, and you still choose what card they used, and that way your reporting is accurate, even though you're not actually processing directly through the software. If you're accepting gift cards or gift certificates, as long as they were sold through the spa or salon, then you're going to be able to use them in the spa or salon. Because that when you sell a gift certificate to the spa or salon, the software has the information. There's no third-party authorization. Can we interface that? Yes, it's been done before. Let's see. There's a question here. Matt, if you have a service charge being applied to the service, how will the system calculate the gratuity? Okay, so if there's a service charge, the gratuity is based on the services themselves, not on an additional service charge. Can you assign an additional service charge to a specific service? Absolutely. The percentage will only apply, though, to the price of the service. It won't be a percentage on top of the service charge. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I'm glad you said perfect. That sounds like the answer you wanted. Okay. So again, when I go here to payment, maybe she wants to make multiple forms of payment. So for instance, cash, it's $105.74 that she owes me. She has a $50 bill that she'd like to get rid of. Okay, so she pays me cash, $50. Well, it's not done because she still owes me $55.74. So maybe she would like to put that on a credit card. So then we're going to say American Express and accept. So now if this is blue, it will generate a receipt. It will either print the receipt or it will email it. That's based on your client preference. If this is gray, it will not generate a receipt. And then we can accept that.
How many options do you have for payment? Only 2, or if you've got 3 different modes?
No, actually, it's unlimited. So I could do all of them. I could accept money as cash and a part of it in cash, part of it in check, part of it in credit card, part of it in gift certificate, and then the rest on the room if I wanted to. I can really get crazy with it.
Awesome.
As long as the total has not been reached, you can keep choosing different methods of payment.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Now I want to show you guys this. I'm going to go to Joyce's file. That was Joyce Echeverria. I think it was ECC. Nope, I was wrong. ECH. There she is, Joyce Echeverria. So I'm in her file here. I'm going to go to her history. And all of the services that she ever got are going to be listed here. And all of the product she ever got are going to be listed as well. So there it is, January 25th. She saw Christian, got a blow dry. So I highlight that. And if I want, I can view the whole transaction. And now I can see that she went, excuse me?
455.
The whole transaction shows, yes, go ahead.
I have to get to another meeting. I'm sorry. I budgeted about an hour, but the ladies can certainly stay on, please.
That's okay. I actually budgeted an hour too, but I'm happy to go over for Sandals.
Paulette can stay on. I know she's in the demo. If you and I need to go over I'd like to see some, I just want to make sure that the back office applications for Rochelle are what they like. I know they've seen it before. I just want to make sure that income audit and everybody from accounting and director of finance standpoint, that they can extract what they need to do flash reports and all that, which I'm sure is fine. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Before you run, would you like me to very quickly go through some of them? Before you run, you want me to quickly go through some of the reports? I wanted to make sure that,
okay. You can send me a different demo or a link or something, or we can look at it.
I'm recording this so I can, yep.
I'm sure that it's great. I have no doubt. I can tell that you clearly got pretty sophisticated software, so it looks good.
Terrific.
But I'd love to see some of the reporting features, and then if there is a dashboard that I can see daily from a corporate standpoint, and just look at all functioning properties simultaneously, even if we're not web cloud-based. So can I see that?
You can only see that if, I mean, technically you can, but if that was the case, you would have a kind of like a master computer with multiple icons on it for different locations. If you're not going to be using the cloud, but without the cloud, you can, of course, from a single computer get into anywhere as long as you have the proper connection and proper networking ability. If you don't, then you might need to use like an RDP or like a logmein or something like that, so you can actually access that location directly rather than just over the web.
Okay, Paulette tells me that I can, and I'll confirm that with Rochelle and make sure that we can, but I'm sure that won't be an issue. I just want to, so if you want to send me a separate email just with some additional like reporting function and then what that dashboard looks like, or if you want to set up another time to just for you and I and Paulette to go over just a couple of,
I'm always happy to schedule time.
Some of the technical items that I don't need to see. I know that the functionality of the booking pages and the retail and commission structure, I'm sure that's all good.
I understand.
And I'm going to log off, but you can stay on with Marika and Tamika if they have time. It'd be great for them to get some additional questions in with you.
Great.
Because I'm going to want their feedback after this, so they can give me a little post-call note and say, that they got all their questions.
Yeah, absolutely, David. Don't worry about that. And I think what I might do is schedule some time with you and one of our developers so they can get more into the nitty-gritty as well. And Rochelle?
And Rochelle, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Rochelle, we should be able to hear you now. You were muted because you had put us on hold a little bit earlier. So we had to.
Oh. Sorry about that.
So we were listening to the.
I was asking about central reporting.
Okay, so with central reporting, you do need to be using the multi-location version. You can do that with the installed version. You can do multi-location without being in the cloud. Absolutely. And then, of course, when you're doing that,
because the persons that you're speaking to right now, they will need to be able to see multiple locations.
Yeah, so as long as we set up the multiple location version for you guys, then you'll be able to do that. Absolutely. Just here's an example. So here in reporting, we go to sales. So there are over 300 different reports already available for you in the software. So most of everything that you can imagine is already going to be here for you. But if there's something specific that you want to see that isn't already a report, then we can actually, in the data miner, create custom reports. As long as the software is gathering the information, then the software is able to kick it out because it uses SQL as its database, and you can mine the data to create custom reports, and you can name them and save them so that those reports are there for you in the future as well. And our technicians can create those for you, or if you have IT staff there that can write a SQL statement, then you can actually mine it right through the software and get the reporting you want. Now, because there's already over 300 reports in the software, chances are you won't have to do that very often. More than likely, it's already going to be there. But I want to show you something important. I'm going to go to sales and go to operator reports. I'm going to go to service sales and go to for a selected operator. And now I'm going to choose a specific operator. Or I can go with everybody, and I'm going to choose everybody, all operators, and accept. Then I get to put in a date range. And I'm going to put in an old date range here. And I'm doing that because I want to show you a couple of things here. Yeah, hi, is that Paulette that just joined us? Okay, never mind. I'm going to go ahead and hit accept. And the first thing I want you to notice is how fast the report comes up. It should just take a couple of seconds, and there it is. And again, the speed of the reports is important. And obviously, if they have very little data, they're going to come up very fast anyway. But even if they have a lot of data, and that's why I wanted to show you this old date. This is from almost 5 years ago. And it has $58,000 worth of services that were done and 843 separate services. But it came up within seconds. So that's important. But also, while I'm in the report, and this is what I wanted to show you, Rochelle, I can change locations. I can choose different locations to see that report. Also, while I'm in that report, I can change it to different people. So I don't always have to close the report and then recreate it. I can just do it right in the report. So I can go in here and look at Christian and recalculate, and now it's Christian's numbers. I click here and hit Debbie and recalculate, and now it's Debbie's numbers. I can change my date as well, from September 1st to October 1st to September 1st to September 7th, and now, recalculate. What about
side-by-side comparison for locations?
Okay, so if I want to do a side-by-side, I'm looking at this report right now for Debbie in location A. Now, I'm not looking side-by-side, but if I hit location B and recalculate, now I'm looking at that same report for Debbie for location B, and go back to location A and recalculate, and now I'm looking at it for location A. So if she works in different locations, I can just flip between them. Or if I was looking at everybody, like I had before, I can change my location as well. So I'm looking at that report, I can just jump from one location to another. Also, I can, with one click of a button, convert this report into an Excel spreadsheet. One click of a button and this report becomes an Excel spreadsheet. I can save this, and then I can switch my locations and make that one an Excel spreadsheet. Now I can look at them side by side.
Okay, so there's no way to do a comparison of all of them in one shot.
Not for this
so
type
much
of a
for
report.
details like this,
but if you're looking at just total numbers,
at all that allows you to do a comparison, maybe by sales?
Well, not a comparison. You can do
sales.
You can do compilations where it's all, all the numbers from different locations combined. You can do that. But again, if you're looking at a specific report for location A, then you want to see that same report for location B, then you want to see that same report for location C. You just use that drop down to view them. And if you need to see them and then pull up another one, you would have to convert it into an Excel spreadsheet, because every time you change that location, it's going to change the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys, that would be okay with you?
Sure. well, for me,
I would assume you'd want to see some kind of comparison.
well, in terms of the spa managers, unless you're operating two spas on one resort, but it's not a big deal if you still have access to two. I think it would be more Miss P from head office end that
Right,
wants to see
that's what I
all,
was,
right?
yes. Paulette,
Well,
sorry,
I'm
that
not
was
hearing
directed at you.
them. Oh, I'm not hearing
And
them.
also,
Guys, I just stepped out. I'm back.
don't forget, of course, you can always print them out as well. So if I created that report and I hit print, I print it out, then I change the location for the same report, hit print, and now I'm looking at them side by side on paper. You could do that as well.
But
it's up to you how
remember,
you want to do that.
no, I'm just saying this because you're talking about two locations. We have
That's
how many
right.
spas now, guys?
20 odd.
17.
17.
Yeah,
Oh, the
so
total
to go
numbers.
in
Yeah,
and
the total.
change and click and save
Do you
and
have an
compare,
HQ like
that's a
from
lot.
headquarters?
Well, I understand what
Yes,
you're saying
but
there, but I think seeing all 22 of those reports on the same screen at one time would be a little bit cumbersome as well. But I
not
understand what you're
detailed
saying.
information, but if we do want to do a quick comparison, we would like if an option was there
Well,
instead of
that's
having to
certainly
go in
possible.
and download information for each.
I understand. Yeah, that's certainly possible. Pro Solutions writes custom changes to software all the time. That's how we make our changes based on what our customers have requested. And as a customer like Sandals, if that's something that you needed, I can't imagine that our technicians wouldn't, I mean, not our technicians, our development team wouldn't be able to create something like that for you. But
And
what
that's
they
not
would
going to be
probably
an
want.
additional $1 million. I'm just asking.
Well,
because what you will find
alone.
with us, we will have a lot of customizations. We don't want to go overboard, but I'm sure your
Right.
out-of-the-box package won't work for us.
It never does for
asking
locations
upfront.
like yours. Yeah, we've made many customizations for places like Couples and Disney. There's no reason why we wouldn't make customizations for Sandals as well. So yeah, I'm showing you what's out of the box, but of course,
right.
Those types of changes are the types of things that we do anyway. And if Sandals said, you know what, we've decided we want to go with Pro Solutions, but we need this kind of a report, I'm just sure that we would do it. You're not Sally's hair salon, with 3 employees. You're a jewel, and you would definitely be something that we would want to bring back into our family. So yeah, we would certainly treat you that way as well. And look, I don't mean to say that we don't treat Sally's salon with 3 employees very nicely. It's just that, we understand the difference between Sandals and Sally's hair salon. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. So moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the reports a little bit more. I'm going to pull up that report again because I want to show you all of the different tools that the reports have. One of them is really simple and basic, and it's not a big deal, but it's nice, and that's Zoom. It just does just what you think it does. It lets you zoom in and zoom out so that you can more easily read the report, especially if you wear reading glasses like I do, without necessarily having to print it out. Then there's email. One click of a button, you can type in an email address and hit OK. That report just got sent to HR or my accountant or myself at home to review later, whatever. I just type in an email address and hit OK, and that report just got sent. Also, I already showed you, you can export directly to Excel. Any report at all can be instantly exported to Excel, so you don't have to export it to a CSV file or a TXT file and then upload it into Excel and set your delimiters. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. Of course, you can print reports, and as I showed you, you can switch then between different people and different time frames and different locations all within the same report without constantly having to close out and recreate it. Okay? Now, there are some other items in here that I want to show you. Like, for instance, if I go to my rewards, I'm able to run reports on my memberships, all memberships, or by membership type, or by billing cycle, or by purchase date or expiration date, things like that. So there's lots of different reports to view there. Also, we have the ability to do batch reporting. So if you say every Friday I run the same 12 reports, you can check off those specific reports and give it a name, like Friday's reports. And then instead of having to go there and print that report, and then go here and print this report, and then go there and print that report, you just go to your batch reports, pull up your Friday's reports, put in your date range, and hit print. And it will pull up all of those reports. And now not every report is in batch reporting. Like I said, we have over 300. As you can see, there's not 300 here. These are the most common. If you need additional reports added to this, let us know and we'll do it. So that you can create your, you know, something like Friday reports, because having to do individual reports each time can be really annoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marika can tell you that.
Go ahead and exit out of that. The next thing I want to talk about, I'm assuming that you pay your staff commission, yes?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I'm going to go to payroll here really quick. Now, the actual payroll only works in the 50 United States. However, you can still run all of the commission through the payroll portion of the software. And so there are 3 different distinct types of payroll that you can set up. So however you do your payroll, you're going to be able to do it effectively in this software. I mean, not your payroll. However you do your commissions, you're going to be able to do it effectively through this software. So I can go to employees and I can add employees. So notice I've already added 9. You know how I know? Because my next one is going to be number 10. But I've added 9. Then if I want to, I can view those employees like Christopher here and see his information. Don't need to fill all of that out if I'm not doing all of the payroll features, which you wouldn't be. But now I want to set up commissions. Employees, commission schedules, sliding commission. Now, I don't know if you use sliding commission or not, but I want to show it to you. I'm going to go to Add Modify Tables. I can choose an employee, and then I can set up to 6 different sliding scales for services and up to 6 different sliding scale for retail. So I can say from $0 to $1,499, Christian gets 50%. From $1,499 and a penny to $2,000, he gets 55%. $2,000 and a penny to $2,500, he gets 60%, etc. And when you run that report, you run it on a date range. So if he hit those numbers, he'll get a sliding scale. And you can do it for retail as well. That's sliding scale. And you can do it with high scale as well. So depending on what he hit, he might get the whole thing at that higher percentage if you want to do high scale as well. That's one way to do commissions. Another way to do commissions is with standard percentages. So I can choose a specific employee and I can say for every service she does, she gets 50%. Easy, done. Angel gets 50% of every service she does. But I might say, no, she just gets 50% on most services. So I do that anyway, where I gave her 50% on everything, but now I can go to individual services and say when she does an acrylic fills, she gets 45%. And when she does an anti-curl with haircut, she gets 40%. So then if I were to check my rates here and go to Angel and say, if she does an acrylic overlay, 50%, but if she does an acrylic fill, 45%. So it holds it that way for me as well. So I can set up as distinct as I want by individual or by blanketly. Now also, to save myself a little bit of time, if Angels is very complicated, and I've set it up and it took me a long time to do it because I have so many different services and she gets so many different rates. So I did that and I set her up. Then I can go back in and I can say that Anna gets the same as Angel and accept. And that way I don't have to go through that whole big long process again.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now also another thing that I can do with commissions is dollar amounts. So now I can choose a specific person like Angel, and I can say that when Angel does a back facial, which is $65, she gets $32.50. That's 50%. But I'm not saying it's 50%. I'm saying it's a dollar amount, $32.50. That way, if I raise my price, she doesn't get an automatic raise. So by doing it by dollar amount, it allows you to still pay them the agreed amount, even though you raised your price to maybe $70. If it was a percentage, then this $70 would change this to $35. But by being a dollar amount, it doesn't automatically give your staff a raise. Maybe you had to raise your prices because your rent went up or your electricity bill went up or your product bills went up. That doesn't affect your staff member, but it affects your bottom line. So you raised your prices, but you're still paying the staff member what you had agreed on. So that's a reason why some consultants want places to go, excuse me, with dollar amounts rather than percentages. But it's up to you. Most places still go with percentages. But those are 3 different forms of commission, based on sliding scale, or based on standard rate percentages, or based on dollar amount. And then after you've created commissions, then you get to go to reports, and you can go to sales, operator reports, commission reports. And then based on what reports you've run, what commissions you've set up, that's going to determine which report you should run. Like the ones that have just standard percentages, that would be my commission sales analysis, or my combined commission report, or my net commission on services. But if I wanted to look at it in sliding scale, I've got my sliding scale reports and my back bar report, my high scale reports. Now there's another thing that I want to talk about, back bar. Back bar allows you to say, I'm going to go to commission rates and going to go to my back bar charges. I'm going to say, okay, when Angel does an acrylic fills, I'm going to charge her $1. This is back bar. She will actually get charged $1 or $2 or $5 or whatever number you put there whenever she does that service, because she's using your product. And so that comes off of her commission. You don't have to do that, but that's back bar. And you can run your reports with or without back bar. And you can do it by percentages or by dollar amounts. Okay? All right, guys. I want to just open this up for general questions now. Do you have any questions for me on something you were hoping I was going to show you that I didn't? Maybe an area of the software that we didn't talk about that you'd like to see, or general questions, or on anything that I just mentioned?
Could you run a therapist report showing that we would give to our payroll, where we need to see their the services, the commission, gratuities, whatever?
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's take a look at it. So I'm going to go to sales here. I'm just going to create one right now. I'm going to choose a customer. We'll go with John Dabney, and I'm going to say that he saw Christian and got a Brazilian blowout for $365. I'm also going to say that he bought some product from Christian, and I'm going to say that he gave Christian a gratuity, 15%, and we'll go ahead and accept this payment. I'm just going to take it in cash really quick. Okay, now I'm going to go to reports, and I'm going to go to sales, operator reports, commission reports, and I'm going to do my commission sales analysis. And I'm going to say for Christian, I could do it for everybody, or I could do it for a group of people, but I'm just going to do Christian right now because we just did some for him. And accept, put in my date range, so I can do it for a pay period or a week or just a couple of days, any date range I want. I'm just going to do it for today. And I'm going to say view report so you can see it, and accept. So let's take a look. The report comes up. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see it a little better. Okay, so Bella Renaissance, commission sales analysis, all registers for the period from January 25th to January 25th. For operator, Christian. These are the services rendered. Joyce Echeverria did a blow dry, quantity 1, hours, 30 minutes, price $42. Any discounts that were applied? What's the amount based on discounts and quantity? And then his commission. So he gets $21 for that. Then he saw John Dabney, which we just did for a Brazilian blowout, an hour and 15 minutes, $365, no discounts. The amount was $365. He gets 50%, $182.50. Subtotals for that group, an hour and 45 minutes, and totals for all services. An hour and 45 minutes was his total time. $470 was his total amount. $203.50 is his commission for services. Right under that, we have products. John Dabney bought the Justin All-in-One shampoo for $21. Any discounts that were applied, and his percentage, 15%. He gets $3.15. Total for products, $315. Total for products and services, $206.65. And then his tips. Joyce gave him a tip for $6.30. John Dabney gave him a tip of $54.75. So his total tips received was $61.05. Total commission for products, services, and tips, $267.70. All on one report.
Yeah.
What if for your pay period, let's say it's every 2 weeks, you wanted this report, which is great, but you want it separate. So you want your services separate from the tips, separate from the retail.
Okay. Each one of those is a different report as well. So I could go to sales, and I can go to my operator reports. Now, one way I can do it is just to go to service sales and looked at the service sales for a selected operator. That's going to give you your totals, but it's not going to give you your commissions. So if I go to operator reports and I go to my commission reports here, then I can do just on services.
Okay, perfect.
I can also do it on a percentage of retail to service or just on retail.
Okay.
And I can also do a tips report. Where is it? Operator reports. There we go, operator tips report. And I can see the totals there. So those are different reports, or you can do them combined like that, or you can look at them separately.
Individually.
Yeah. The combined one.
Any other questions that you guys might have?
Yeah. I asked because right now we're clipping up the paper for the therapists. Some properties anyway.
Well, I'm very glad to show you that we can do some things that might save you some time and effort. Do you have any additional questions for me?
I don't. Tamika? Is Tamika there?
She's not able to speak, Miss P. She has to type.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
this
so
is
let me.
actually my third time seeing the presentation, so actually I had asked whatever questions I had. I think it is a lovely software, really.
Now, Rochelle.
Yeah.
Rochelle, I'm going to. Oh, terrific. Is that Tamika?
No, it's Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Oh, that's Rochelle. Rochelle, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be emailing you a copy of this demo that we just did, and then you can disseminate it to anybody you'd like.
No problem.
Also, if you'll give me David's contact information, you can just email it to me after I send you the demo. What I want to do is I want to schedule a meeting between the head of our development department and David. I think that they can get into it a little bit more in depth. Okay. All right. So then, unless there's any other questions, I'll go ahead and end it. But if there are, I'm open to you.
I'm done.
I'm good on my
side. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Rochelle, you can expect that email from me probably within the next 2 hours.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
My pleasure. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
It was my pleasure.